Okay folks, we're going to have a look at setting up to do the ignition timing on the JAWA engine on my road bike. I've just changed the ignition system from a PAL magneto to a PAL magneto conversion, which is basically just used as a generator now with a trigger and a donor in there, and electronic ignition, which is an interspan unit. So we have an advanced retard curve because the original PAL mag on the Speedway engines didn't have an advanced retard. So I'm just going to run through the way that I normally get the ignition timing right prior to strobing. Years ago, before I learnt to do this, it was always a bit hit and miss, and actually come to think of it, it's still a bit hit and miss. So I've got most of the things ready. So we'll just take the spark plug out for a start. I've got it on compression stroke. Piston is somewhere near TDC. So spark plug out. That's it. Then I've got a pointer, a bit of metal here to hold the pointer somewhere near. I've got an adjustable pointer here so I can slide it up and down. Obviously the point of it's got to be fairly thin, piece of wire or something reasonable, but it's got to be fairly solidly mounted because obviously when you've got the engine running, things do move about a bit. So there we are, top dead centre on the degree disc. Now I'm going to get the piston in the right place by using what we call a dead stop. This is the dead stop. All it is an old spark plug with the centre drilled out and a 3/8 bolt in, and we'll use that for a start. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to rotate the engine back a little bit up to sort of 40 degrees, put the dead stop in, just wind it in by finger. It's the same to do it, important to do it the same each time, so don't use a spanner to tighten it, just do it by hand. And then I'm going to move the crankshaft or the engine gently forwards until it comes up at the dead stop, and read what it says. Right, okay, with the pointer loose it says 20 degrees. So if I just stick it at say 23 and nip it slightly, so just got an ordinary bolt on here, nip it slightly. So we got, okay, so we've got on there, it is showing 23 degrees. So what I'm going to do is back it off now, again that way, unscrew the dead stop. It needn't come right out, but obviously you've got to clear the piston. Instead of rotating the engine right round to come up the other way, you just take the engine back the other direction, put the dead stop back in, and that'll be like obviously rotating the engine all the way, and then gradually bring it up to the dead stop, same as we did the other way, and see what we got. Right, so we've got basically 24, so we've got 23 and 24 on the other side, so what we want to be is about 23 and a half then, for a quick bit of maths. So if we move that round and just nip it, so we've got 23 and a half that way. Unscrew the dead stop again, a reasonable amount so we don't get the piston on it. Rotate it the other side of TDC, dead stop back in, same tension on that each time with your fingers. Bring it back to the stop, and there we have it. So that is 23 degrees. So I now know that it's 23 degrees or 23 and a half degrees either side of TDC. So if I take the dead stop out now, and rotate the crankshaft, I know that that is top dead centre. So then obviously it's a matter of strobing it up as normal. This is currently set at 37 degrees before top dead centre, and that's where it wants to be, but that's how I use the dead stop to get the piston. It is likely that when you're just trying to measure down the plug hole, it's very easy to be sort of 2 or 3 degrees or a couple of degrees of movement either side of top dead centre without the piston moving. Obviously you've got a lag at the top where it's going over the top, so you've got 2, 3, maybe 4 degrees of crankshaft movement without the piston moving. So it's important to know that if you're going to do it, you can get it obviously then I can get this strobed up within half a degree quite easily. But the same thing, the same reason, you go through the same procedure. This is bolted up on the crankshaft pulley, same holes all the time. I set the top degree disc roughly at TDC with a piston. I know that's right, and it's just a question of moving the pointer to suit. And then the favourite thing when you've done the timing is to take the spark plug out, put your dead stop back in and check that your pointer and nothing has moved and it's still registering the same either side of top dead centre. Right, while we've got this on here, a couple of quick things. We've got a belt drive on here. This is a neb clutch, 8mm bolt belt drive. We've got belt drive to the dynamo, which is tooth V belt, that's done by OptiBelt. We've got the wires coming out of the magneto here. Just have a look. We've got the red wire is the power wire, that's the generator wire. The other wire in there is the pickup from the donor. We've got a stop kill button to go on this cable here, which is soldered in. And if you just come around the other side, just pause it, Marcus. Right, okay, start it again from here. This is where the ignition unit is mounted in here, in between the gearbox plates, and that's an interspan unit. Right, okay, hope that's some help to some people, and hopefully it's made it fairly straightforward. Okay, thank you.